Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Titan-sized class episode. Today we will be taking a look at the Guardian of Crystal City, none other than Omega Supreme. So that's the thing with these Titan class figures, is they're always going to go beyond your shooting range. So please forgive me for the less than polished parts of this, in which, well, it's going to be most of the video. Anyway, so as you can see, obviously this is his rocket form now that we're looking at. And really, I mean, there's not much beyond, I mean, what you see is what you get. The only kind of cool feature about this rocket mode is what it conceals. Now you have his partner, Countdown, which, as you can see, Countdown in his own right as a small little robot. I mean, he's cool. He does have this handle that flips out of his chest, yet I think that's meant just to attach him to rocket mode. However, if you're wondering what he looks like as a little vehicle mode, and there you have it. You can see it's a little buggy sort of vehicle. So, I mean, this is, you know, just a small fraction, minuscule thing that is basically just meant to make Omega look bigger than he already does. So, as ridiculous as that might seem. So in regards to actually size and, you know, how it's relevant to other figures, here he is with obviously Jetfire. Now if you guys have seen my video on Jetfire, you will recall that he in himself is a big figure. But this was just the best way I could think of off the top of my head to give you just kind of, you know, some relevance of how big he is in comparison to somebody that is also very big. But moving on beyond that, we will next look at this tank mode. There's not really much about this. I mean, essentially it's a big brick. I mean, the turret can move up and down, but you can see here's his robot mode head just kind of peeking out here. So with them butted up to each other, it locks the cannon into place where it can't really turn. Now the one thing that this thing has going for it is that it turns into like some sort of mobile garage. So if you go ahead and pull the cannons up here, you can actually flip the front section down, and like I said, he turns basically into a garage for figures like his buddy here. And I mean, you can close back up his tank mode, and there you go. So you're probably wondering, just how exactly big is this guy? Well, to give you an idea, there he is up against Hound, and there he is up against Ratchet. So definitely a big boy. So here is his base mode. Now the one thing about his base mode is, you know, especially with this large, you know, chest cavity, it kind of forms this area where you can stick, you know, a figure about the same size as our little Dinobot friend here. Now in regards to the tracks, the tank part of it, it doesn't stay on the track most of the time. If you want to push it around, I mean, it's going to be coming off the track edges and stuff, and you're going to have to use your imagination for once. However, smaller figures like Hound over here, I mean, he stays on the track pretty well. Now, the interesting thing about them in general is that they untab here and here, and same on the other side, with pieces like this on both inner parts of the track and these pieces that flip out. So you can actually reposition the track in different configurations because you're not locked into this oval shape. So if you wanted to do it different, you definitely can. So with that being said, let's go ahead and add the one piece that needs to be sitting here. This is just a full-on shot, just so you can see how it all looks all together. And so, guys, I mean, in base mode, this thing is huge. But then again, this is a Titan class Transformer. You know, we've done this dance before. Let's finally move on into robot mode. So here is the Crystal Guardian in all of his glory. Now, one thing about him is, unlike any other Siege figure that has, you know, the silver mud splatter, you know, whatever you want to sort of, you know, wear and tear effect, he is actually sans that, okay? Now, he does have his own unique sort of scorch burns right here on each one of his arms and down here on each one of his legs. But you can definitely see as I bring it into view on the camera. I mean, just look at the massive amount of detail. See over here on this arm, he has that scorch mark, he has that one there. And then as we bring his legs up, you can see those two there. I mean, but just the amount of detailing on Omega Supreme is just awesome. Now, the one thing is, for as big and bulky of a guy as he is, he has some crazy articulation. And I'm like, wow, you know, and it totally puts the Combiner Wars Devastator to shame. Which, speaking of, you know what, it's awesome because in the cartoon, he was bigger than Devastator. So to see these two guys side by side finally, you know, mortal enemies, it's just so cool. One of the things that he comes with is this massive blast effect right here. Now, he also does come with these smaller two blast effects, which are replicas of the very tip end of the big blast. And so you can keep them together. However, so when you take the big explosion effects and break it down, you actually have 5. So in addition to the 2 smaller pieces, that gives you, you know, multiple options between all of the 5mm peg ports and all of the, you know, bang boils, if you want to call them that, where you can just attach them all over. Now that's if you want to use them independently. So if you keep it all together as actually one big section, you know, no matter who he's blasting, whether it be a smaller foe or the recently decapitated Devastator, that laser blast all together will wreck any fool that you have Omega pointing it towards. And here is Omega with just varying size classes to, again, just stress how gigantic this dude is. And you know what? I really like it because it just feels like the animation has like straight up just jumped off the screen. Okay guys, just 2 more things and I promise we'll be done. So for his tank that is part of the base mode, when you saw those 4 little ports that were inside his garage area, that's not meant for 4 figures. Those 4 posts are meant to hold down countdown only. So you're supposed to just kind of sit them in there, and friction is supposed to kind of hold them in a little bit. That's the first thing. Second thing is these connection ports right here on his wings, and the other ones that are on his body, they are backwards compatible with any Titans Return base formers like Fort Max, Power Master Prime, you know, any of that line. So in base mode, you can actually connect him to those bigger guys as well. So it's just a little bit of an interesting thought. So anyway guys, as he's roasting Megatron here, we'll go ahead and close out our review. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Siege Omega Supreme. And until next time guys, we will see you in another review.